Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by the channel and checking out the video. In this latest video, I'm going to be testing and reviewing another laser engraver from the Wizmaker brand. This is the Wizmaker Wand 12-watt blue diode laser engraver. A very affordable and easy to use entry-level laser engraver. We'll begin testing out some materials and see how it performs. So if you're interested, I hope you'll stick around and check it out with me. And here's the box that you're going to get when you order the Wizmaker Wand laser engraver. So as you can see here, everything's in the box. Pretty small box, so you're going to have to put everything together, which should be fairly simple. So I'll go ahead and get everything unboxed and just show you all the parts here after I take them out of the box, and we'll go from there. And here you see all the contents of the box once you open it up and get everything out. It's pretty typical for an open frame style laser engraver. I think there's about 6 screws that you have to put into, 1 in each corner, and then 1 on each side for the X rail there. And again, you got your operation manual for your laser gerbil, your machine manual here, which is pretty straightforward. And as you can see here, it's pretty detailed about how to put everything together. So I'm not going to show you how to put it together on camera here, but again, pretty straightforward and standard. You got your safety glasses, your power supply, a spare belt, some wrenches, and your package of screws, your USB cable here, your side rails, back and front rail. And there's your front rail there with all the connections and power buttons. And then most importantly is your laser module here. Which again, this is a 12.5 watt laser. So I'll go ahead, put everything together, and show you what it looks like once it's all set up. And I'll go over again some of the features of the machine once I get it put together. And then from there, I'll just start doing some projects and showing you what it can do. Alright, well here is the machine all put together. As you can see, it's a typical open frame or open rail system here for a laser engraver. Made out of a lightweight aluminum rails, the 2020 rails there, and a composite material here. Very nice looking, very well put together. It took me about 10 minutes or so to get everything put together and connected. But as you can see here, there's just screws here on each corner, front and back, and then also the side. And one thing I didn't show you before is you do have to, which I didn't get out of the box, I forgot it was in the box, is you do have to slide this rod in, and that goes in from this side here, and you just tighten down the nuts right there, the little set screws on both sides. So there you can see, you just tighten down a screw here and a screw here, and get everything connected, put your laser module in, and get it all connected to your computer, and you're ready to go. And so just to go over a few features with the machine, it does have auto homing that you can enable, so that when the machine starts up, it will go all the way to the back here where the limit switches are. It does have limit switches on it, which you can't really see them, but there's one down underneath here, and then also one right over there. So it's a nice feature to have. And it also has tilt detection and flame detection, which you can enable once you get it set up to light burn. So a couple good features there. And then as you can see here, you got your power and your computer connections, your accessory connections here. You know, if you want to put in a rotary or a camera or different things like that, there are different accessories available through Wizmaker. And then you have your power button here. And so I'll go ahead and just power this on here real quick. That might go ahead and show you the auto homing. There you go, so it homes up. And then you're ready to go. So then one other feature, it does come with a memory card or a TF card. And I'll turn this off here quick so it doesn't give me an error message. But the TF card is actually underneath here. You can see it, it's right here. Little memory card in there. That should have all of your software so that when you hook it up to Lightburn, you can just import the file and it'll have all the machine parameters already set up for you. But if for some reason that doesn't work, you can also download it from the Wizmaker site, or you can just enter the machine in manually to Lightburn. But it's a very easy process. So, and I'll just show you here real quick, a brief description of how that's set up with the firmware. I already have my machine set up to connected to Lightburn, but again, if you follow the manual instructions here, it just basically goes, once you have your machine connected to Lightburn, you're going to go to the devices section of Lightburn, which, if you can see, is right here where the mouse is. If you can see the mouse there, right there. And then you're going to click import, which is right over here. Sorry if that's blurry. But now I have this on my computer, so, and then it's the Wizmaker Wand file there. So then you'll just hit open and it'll install the software, and your machine should all automatically be connected and home to the computer. So it's a fairly simple process. Like I said, if you don't have the file and you can't get your computer to open the file that's directly on the card in the machine, you can download it off of the Wizmaker website. But it's a pretty easy process. So I already have the machine all set up, but just to go over a few more features here with you in just a moment, and then we'll get started. Okay, well, as you can see, I set things up here a little differently than what I just previously mentioned. I went and got my honeycomb panel out, and I'm going to use a cardboard template, which I usually like to do when I'm cutting materials and stuff and have a more permanent setup. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this machine or anything, but since I'm going to be doing some cutting tests, I wanted the honeycomb panel, and as you can see underneath there, I have a metal plate. And then that's also, since I have it raised up here on a couple pieces of scrap wood, so that way I can see when I'm cutting, I can actually see the reflection of the laser on this metal plate to see whether or not I'm actually cutting through. And I've also set up a cardboard template here with a removable center section with a grid pattern on it. So that way when I want to cut something, I just move out the grid pattern here, and then basically I will put the piece that I'm cutting pretty much basically down here in the bottom left corner, so then that way I know where that is at all times. And then that way I can set up the Lightburn to have the project set right here in this bottom left corner, so that I know where it's going to be cutting. But then if I do want to run a just a basic engraving test, I'll set up the grid pattern here, so I'll know exactly where the piece is going to be in correlation to the setup in Lightburn. So I'll go ahead and now I'll start getting some pieces set up for testing, and just to finally show you what the machine can do. to wrap the testing for the birch plywood. As you can see here in the previous video clips there, this is a 1/4 inch plywood here that I was able to cut through completely in one pass with 5 inches a minute at 100% power. You see I did quite a few different settings. Mainly I kept everything at 100% power. Did 10 inches per minute. Really didn't go through at all. And then here at the 7 inches per minute, it went through in about half of it. So not too bad, I guess, but not quite the whole way through. And then with here at 6 inches per minute, it cut a little better, but still not quite the whole way through. You can see some of it. It's probably 90% cut through, 95% cut through at the top and bottom there, but still not quite cut through. And then here for the 1/8 inch birch plywood, the first one here with the little saw blade cut through, and that was at 7 inches per minute at 100% power. And then just for the text engraving, I had it at a 400 inches per minute and 65% power, so the engraving did pretty well. And then here with the just a little circle, I did cut this at 10 inches per minute at 100% power, so definitely is capable of cutting through the birch plywood. Just got to take it a little slow or do multiple passes. And obviously you can see this, I don't have air assist on this machine, and I didn't get anything sent with me for the air assist, or sent to me for the air assist, so you can see the little charring on there. But again, the air assist is an option that you can get through Wizmaker. So I'll go ahead. I think next up I'm going to cut and try to engrave some black acrylic, and we'll see how that goes. And here I have a piece of 1/8 inch thick black acrylic. I'm going to engrave a logo and cut it out as like a keychain, so we'll see how this works. Okay, well I can see that that didn't cut through. I was cutting that at 7 inches per minute or 10 inches per minute, so I'm going to slow it down a little bit and run another pass, see how it does. Alright, well that looks like that cut through the remaining section of that piece. But I'm going to try it one more time at just 7 inches per minute and one pass, just with a little circle. Since I did cut that in two passes, one at 10 inches and one at 7-inch pass. So I'll just try this again. See if it'll cut through one pass at 7 inches per minute. Okay. And yeah, so 7 inches per minute and one pass. We'll cut right through it. So that should be a good speed. And here is the other piece here. I'll just peel this off. And here is the engraving. And see, it turned out pretty well. You can definitely make some key tags or keychains with this, with the black acrylic. Just make sure you have some good ventilation or an exhaust air purifier system, because this is toxic and does smell pretty bad when you cut it and engrave it. So, alright, well next up I think I'm going to try to engrave some leather and see how it does with that. I'm going to do an engraving and cutting on this piece of leather and see how it does. And here's the result with the leather. It turned out pretty good. I got it all cleaned up. There's no residual soot or anything like that left on the piece of leather. Now I cut this out around the edges, cut it out of the bigger piece of leather at 40 inches per minute and 100% power, and the engraving was done at 225 inches per minute and 90% power. So again, turned out pretty well for that. So I think I'll do one more test, and that should about wrap it up for the Wizmaker Wand 12 watt. Alright, well, here is the aluminum dog tag. Now I ran this at 200 inches per minute at 100% power, and you can see it turned out pretty well, pretty nice. So you know, you could do other kinds of aluminum products like tumblers or whiskey flasks or any other painted metals, like stainless steel. You could paint it black and try to get it engraving. So I think this turned out pretty well. Alright, well, I think that should about wrap it up for the testing of the Wizmaker Wand 12 watt laser engraver. And as you can see here, it did pretty well with the materials that I tested. Again, the black acrylic worked out pretty well. The anodized aluminum dog tag, and also several pieces here of the birch plywood. Again, it cuts very, very clean. It would look a lot better if we had air assist on it, but it cut very well. And then also the leather. So again, this is the Wizmaker Wand 12 watt, and a great little machine. And this is also a very affordable machine, coming in under $200, around $189 I believe at the current price. So again, very affordable, very well built, put together, operated very well, didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. And just to recap some of the specs on the machine, again, it's a 12 watt version of the Wizmaker Wand. It's a working area of 300 by 300 millimeters, or just under 12 inches by 12 inches. A working speed of about 10,000 millimeters per minute. It is a manual focus. It's compatible with all the different laser softwares, laser Gerbil, Lightburn, and it's also Wi-Fi and hotspot and Bluetooth, USB hotspot and Wi-Fi connectability. So you have a lot of options there, and it's also very small and portable. You can take this with you wherever you go and do custom pieces on tabletops, bar tables, you know, toolboxes, whatever, you know. So again, very versatile machine, very well built with the composite materials and the aluminum frame, and with the way that the corners are structured, it's very rigid. You shouldn't have any problems with it being out of square or out of alignment. And yeah, I think it performed pretty well. So you know, if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. And also like and subscribe. I'll include the links for the wand, Wizmaker wand machine in the description, so you can check it out. And appreciate it if you do like and subscribe. But again, also if you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. But thanks for watching.